Hi everyone, how are we doing? This is Steve. Today I'm meeting a good friend of mine called Steve O'Hare. He is part of Signal Centre. He lives in this amazing 1850, I think it was built, place. We're going to go in, we're going to watch how he does his signals, and we're going to talk about his company, and we're going to separate him from the bad actors in the market. So let's go in and meet him. Hi Steve.
All right.
Nice to meet you. This is an amazing house.
Thank you. Come in.
Okay, hi everyone. How are we doing? So this is a good friend of mine, Steve. Steve, I just want to talk to you today a little bit about your company, Signal Centre.
Yeah.
So what I've been doing, we've been getting lots of emails about these scam artists. That so basically, I think this like FX Lifestyle that we were talking about previous. They offer these signals, these buy in, buy down, and people just losing money. And I want to kind of show the difference between those scam artists and the professional system that you do, and just say to people, because we get a lot of people looking for signals.
Yeah.
And I want to point them to the people that know what they're doing and not just guessing. So will you tell me what is your background in trading?
Yeah, well, from an early age, I left school, went straight to work in London. Spent a year working in a computer company, and that went into shift work. Got a bit bored with that, and I was lucky enough to get a job on the Baltic Exchange, and that's where the grain futures were traded. Low job, it was marking all the prices that the traders were trading onto a board, a whiteboard. This is obviously before the computers took hold, and. And so from there, I then was able to get a job within the trading companies. So from the age of 18, I started understanding and working with trading. It was on the potato futures market initially, the grain market, the freight market, and then during my lunchtime, they had big lunchtimes at that time in the Baltic Exchange. I used to go over to the Royal Exchange, the live floor, and that's where the real buzz was.
Yes.
And from there, I used to go over there lunchtimes and eventually got a job over there, and that's where it started. So for me, it feels like I've traded all my life, and probably it was around about the early 90s that I first started trading for myself.
Right.
Eventually forming a company in 1995 where I was fully 100% employed by myself, self-employed. So,
oh right, okay.
Yeah, so it's been a long while.
Yeah, I think 88 I started.
Right, yes. So it was. I think the year of the big crash, 87.
Yes.
The potato futures market was the only market that was open that day. All the others were shut because of the storms. I think we went limit down that day or something. It wasn't a great day for trading, but it was a lot better than maybe the financial markets felt on the Monday or whatever. But it has been a long road, plenty of ups and downs in it. Yeah. I'm not going to pretend it's a better road.
I've lost probably as much as I've won.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've had a few events like that in my time of trading. We're sort of now. I've gone into the providing the trade ideas. I still trade myself, but I also provide trade ideas, and that's what we do on a daily basis. Yeah, I still have that love for it. So.
Okay. So how did Signal Centres come about?
So Signal Centre itself was originally called PIA first,
right?
And it was a company formed out of a need for the bank analysts. They saw a real demand for what they were doing. They were providing trade ideas based on technical analysis on a daily basis for individual banks.
Right.
And that's how PIA first was formed. And in 2012, a pal of mine, Ian Coleman, he'd joined PIA to really push the retail part of it, right? Because at the time it was very much focused on the institutional clients.
Right. Okay.
So the trade ideas were very much fixated around the bonds, the FX markets, but then they saw this opening that the retail market really needed also a trade idea provider. So cutting a long story short, the company had a sort of a bit of an upheaval, and Ian was left running it on his own.
Right.
And that's when he approached me and asked me to join. And from there, I took my obviously throughout my trading career, I've always used technical analysis, as well as the other attributes that you're given depending on where you're trading and what you're trading. And that could be sort of from the live floor. You'd rely on the noise, the environment, what's going on around you. You sort of, the people around you would, you'd know which ones that you could trade with. And then sort of to be thrown to the screen-based trading, which was very quiet and very unforgiving, with no favours done at all.
No.
And then, so it was, throughout my career, I really always seemed to revert back to technical analysis to provide that ideal trade entry point. And over the years, I developed my own style of trading, but technical analysis is the core to it. It's I don't very often take a trade just because I have a gut feeling. I always like to, if I do have a gut feeling, I always like to look at the charts and back it up.
Right.
And if there is a backup there, then it gives me a bit more confidence.
Okay, that sounds good. So with so all the technical analysis that you're doing is, because obviously back in when we were traders on the pits, we didn't have screens, we didn't have technicals or anything like that. It was all kind of on the phone, writing tickets.
It was actually a chart.
So did you find it hard to come over and start learning the technical and fundamental side of it, or?
You know what? Because of my first introduction, I did have a love for computers in the early days. And so that year I spent working for a computer operator. I think that sort of meant that I always had my mind was open to whatever came about.
Right.
So when the live floor was closing and this environment was about to change, and we were going to be sat in front of computers, I sort of embraced it because I always felt comfortable in front of computers.
Right.
And so I had to retrain myself into how to trade because the environment had changed. But it didn't worry me. It was a bit of a baptism of fire initially because it was very, very different. There was, the one thing the main note was no noise. When you're trading on a floor of an exchange, the volume of noise would pick up.
The buzz was,
and it was it, and you knew something was going on. When you're sitting in front of a screen 3 months later in a basement in London, and the market, and you turn away and you look back and the market's moved 100 points, and you have no idea why.
There's no rhyme or reason. For it. So it's market makers. That's what it is.
Well, that's it. It's obviously we're then competing very actively against the bank traders who have all the information
and the money,
and that they can easily bottom draw a trade that goes against them. Whereas, throughout all that time, you're trading with your own money. You're going into trade, and it was almost like I had to trade every day, even if maybe there wasn't a real trade that was on. I still, at the moment now, we analyse about 36 intraday markets. And we give trade ideas in those 36 markets, but not all of them will trigger. Not all of them will trade. And that's because we're given a good risk-reward trade idea, but some of them aren't close to the market.
Right, okay.
Because you've got to remember that there's always opportunities about, and you've just got to make sure you don't get dragged into the market's open, I've got to trade, and that's the one thing I really sort of like.
There's some of the things that we tell our guys. Some people are sitting in front of that screen all day, constantly trading, and I kind of think, what are you trading? If there's nothing to trade, why are you forcing the trade? A lot of those sort of people. But what I liked about your system as well is you didn't just provide here's Euro USD, it's going up today. Here's an entry price. Here's a close price. I like that you give. There's a lot more information. You also give a little write-up as well. You also give a confidence factor. I like the fact that you kind of got an idea, but and your strength and everything else that gives. And also as well, I think with the way you do your technical analysis and giving that little brief information, I think that also teaches people what it is you're doing, how you're doing it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the real things that we're looking to sort of progress into the education side of things as well, because we've always felt like that. it doesn't matter how many people are, you know, if you give a trade idea, and I don't care if I give everyone the secret as to why I'm doing that trade idea. It doesn't matter to me, because that's not going to affect my trade.
Teach a man to fish.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not. If anything, it's if you get more and more people following your trade idea, there's more chance of it being successful.
Yeah.
Because, you know, an example is there was a very well known bank, and there was a good friend of mine went to trade there, and he really liked our analysis. So what would happen on a daily basis, the markets that he focused on, he would text us at the end of the day and say, "Oh, great trade I did today in cable, thanks very much, brilliant." We wouldn't have been triggered in cable, because we always take we'd have a trade idea to buy cable, say on a dip to 125. Buy cable at 125, the target's 126, the stop is good risk reward, maybe 2-to-1, 3-to-1 risk reward. So if we're looking for 100 points, we'll only risk 50 points, maybe less. But we'd look at the trade at the end of the day, and it got within 3 or 4 ticks of our trade, and didn't get triggered.
Right.
So we would think, well, why did he say thanks for the trade idea? But it is pretty much what we thought. He was buying in front of our level, which is absolutely fine to do, but we weren't getting triggered, but he was still making good money, because it would rally and hit the target. So although it was great for him, it didn't feel good for us, because we couldn't put a trade winner on the board. But, you know, that's one of those things, and the whole idea behind everything is to educate traders.
Right.
And I think that's the most important thing, because there's a lot of traders who, I believe, don't understand what they're doing, but they're risking their own capital wherever they, you know, however much it is, doesn't really matter. It's all relevant.
Yeah.
And they're risking that on a daily basis, and they're, you know, trading things maybe that they shouldn't be trading, or maybe the main thing is probably they're over trading from a risk perspective and from a volume perspective.
Yeah.
They're just risking too much. They're looking for too much. They see the flash cars, they see the big houses, they see the water cash on the table.
On YouTube,
and of course it is. And obviously it's easy to get sucked into that.
Yeah.
But the real thing to understand before you even start to trade is to be realistic in your expectations.
Yeah, totally agree.
You know, and if someone was to say to you, "Oh, here's a bank account which is paying you 15% a year," I think most people go, "Wow, that's incredible."
Yeah.
And they go, "Yeah, I'll put my money in there."
Yeah.
But then they're gone them days.
Yeah.
So be realistic about what do you expect to make out of your trading account. If you have a £2,000 trading account, or a £10,000 trading account, or £500 trading account, do you really expect to be able to double that on a regular basis?
That's what most people believe they can do.
It is, and unfortunately, it's not the fact that can't be done anymore.
No.
It's because you have algos that are competing for them sort of small pips and small percentages.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, it means that sort of as a trader, you have got to find a methodology that you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
We have one that we're comfortable with, trading on an intraday basis, and we have some medium-term trade ideas that we put out there, but they're all based around technical analysis, and not all of them will win, and that's the key to it. You don't have to have a high win-loss ratio.
Yeah.
If you have 9 winners and 1 loser, it doesn't matter. If that 1 loser is 100 points and the 9 winners are 10 points, you've lost money.
Yeah.
So the 90% win-loss is no good.
No good, yeah.
For us, we seem to correlate around about the 45 to 50% win-loss ratio.
Right.
But we're always our risk-reward, so we're looking to make more money than we are to lose. So that's how we sort of like, that's why it works.
So that kind of leads me on to the next question, actually. So what's the future for you guys? I mean, you're doing the trade signals, the analysis. What's the next thing for you guys?
I think for us, we had quite a eureka moment at the start of the year. My nephew came and sat down with us, and we really. One of the questions he asked is he's a business analyst, so he's worked for some decent companies, and although it's my nephew, he's still. I've got a lot of respect for you know the way he approaches things, and he's very successful in his own right. But the question he really asked was, why do you exist? And it's something that has been bandied around. There's a lot on YouTube about it. Some great videos I've watched since then. And it is that was we sort of thought, well, we give trade ideas. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, he said, but why do you do it? Well, we give trade ideas because we want to give traders the opportunity to see our trade ideas, and hopefully they'll make money out of them.
Yeah.
So really, the reason we do exist is to help others.
Yeah.
And that's what we sort of like really felt. So what's the next step? So I thought long and hard about it. We all did as a group, as a company, as a management team. And Ian Coleman is like one of our co-founders, directors, and he came from an educational platform as well.
Right.
So, and I, throughout my career, have always looked to teach traders how I was making money, what I was doing right.
Yeah.
And so the education is really, I believe, is the real root, or where we're focusing our efforts now.
Yeah.
Because, as I say, the more people that are educated, hopefully that number of people that are losing money, the number of retail traders that are losing money, instead of being a high percentage number, drops down below, the 50% mark, and you're getting more traders making money than are losing money.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you might get a few companies merging because they can't handle it.
Yeah.
But that's down to the brokers. The brokers are making a lot of money out of the business nowadays. Yeah. But I'd just like them to make a little bit less.
Yeah, makes sense. So for people that are watching, how do they find you guys? How can the average person who's sitting at home on his own in front of a trading screen, hasn't got a clue what he's doing, how does he come and find you guys? Can he just join and sign up? Can he? Yeah. So he can come over to your, get access and start learning from
absolutely.
You guys.
We're looking for a process now which makes it a little bit easier. We've never really been big into the marketing, the really pushing our signals. One of the main reasons for that, I should have maybe mentioned earlier, is because we decided to approach the Financial Conduct Authority about becoming regulated.
Oh, that's good, because you're FCA, aren't you?
Yeah. So, and that was, for me, was really important, because it sort of, it gives people then the confidence to know that we're not a fly-by-night group. Yeah. We'll do things properly. We'll treat customers fairly. We'll do everything that we have to within our regulation. Yeah. And one of the main things is not mis-selling, not misleading, really treating the customer fairly. Yeah. And that's what we want to do. So the idea is to try and produce a subscription type service to make it accessible to people, to give some stuff away free, so because it obviously is about educating traders as well. Yeah. So we've never really pushed it that hard, but now we feel like we really want to make a difference to that number of people that are losing money. So we publish free trade ideas on TradingView. We've got a nice following there. We've got a Telegram group which has access to those trade ideas.
Am I okay to link that below for people?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. So, and then the idea is to try and show that traders that they could learn a lot more and provide an educational. We have an educational academy, a Signal Centre Academy, which we're going to be linking up on our website in this next week. And we really want to, that would be the basic introduction to technical analysis and what we do, what we know. There's some videos on there which are quite good, we think. We might have some critiques, and we don't mind that. It's always good to be critiqued. And really sort of then build onto webinars and then provide some education webinars for free.
That's going to be a key thing.
Yeah, definitely, because I think you need that interaction with the trader. Traders need to see our faces, need to see us actually what we do, understand what we do, and through a webinar, I think you can get most of that across. Yeah. Because you're actually, you see our faces, you see our charts, you see what we're doing. There's no holy grail that if you're looking for the holy grail, it won't be on the link below. No. Just make things real for people, and hopefully, trading's not for everyone. I do have this belief that anyone can trade. Yeah. but not everyone can trade the same way.
No,
you've got
patience as well.
It is absolutely. You've got to find your time frame. I think.
Yeah.
You know, myself and Ian and Joe, we all have maybe time frames that suit us better.
Yeah.
So when Ian analyses a market, or when Joe analyses it, or when I analyse it, we're not always exactly the same.
Yeah.
Generally, over the medium long term, we're the same, because it's like, but on the short term time frames, you could be looking at a half-hour chart, an hour chart, a 4-hour chart, and there's good trade ideas within it, and there could be opposing trade ideas, and they could both make money. A buy idea and a sell trade idea could both make money. Yeah. Even if they're at the same price. It's all about stop placement and target placement. Yeah. And that time frame. So there's a lot for people to learn. Hopefully, we can bring some of that knowledge and give some of that knowledge to the people, and they can be more successful, give them more chance of success. That's the idea.
Brilliant. Well, that's all my questions.
Lovely.
Thank you so much, Steve.
No worries.
I'll link everything in the description below. I'm obviously going to do a bit of an outro anyway, but yeah, thank you so much for seeing me.
You're welcome. Great to see you.
Hopefully we'll get some people coming down your way.
Yeah, lovely. Brilliant. Look forward to it.
Excellent.